To discuss the decision by ActionSA to vote with the ANC Johannesburg to oust Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda, I'm now joined by Policy and Research Advocacy Officer, South African Cities Network, Lwazi Sikiti. Lwazi, I appreciate your time. This is potentially one of those cities where we've had multiple changes in the mayorship of the city. What are your thoughts around this? And obviously, what's brewing on the sidelines?
Well, thank you, Hugo. Yes, you are right. We've had quite a few changes in our mayorship as the city of Joburg. It's actually a very concerning thing, given that in terms of principles of good governance, one would expect some continuity for a number of reasons. One being that public trust is essential to good governance. So when you have a high turnover of leadership at a mayoral level, it also erodes that public trust in the functions of council. And secondly, it also erodes the confidence, business confidence in the investability of the city of Joburg, as we know that it is one of the heart or the municipalities that are at the heart of our economic engines. So it does create some concerns in that regard. And thirdly, I would also extend that it also creates major concerns from our counterparts in the form of either sister cities internationally and in other multilateral forums that the city of Joburg belongs to. So those are the issues, I would say, at the heart of these concerns around the high rotation of mayors.
So before we take a look at what's currently happening on the sidelines and the amount of lobbying that's going on, let's go back a little bit and focus on just how much of the voting of a particular mayor is based on the desires or capacity of an individual or representative of a political party to perform the function of the mayor versus the own interests or the specific interests of a political party. I mean, it almost seems that this jostling of who should be mayor is more about the political parties themselves and safeguarding certain interests or keeping other political parties out of the office as opposed to looking after the interests of the people of Johannesburg.
Certainly, one would wish for a fine balance between the competence of the individual, as well as also the political party, as well as at the center of it, the citizens or the residents of the municipality. So what we've seen now is that we've seen more of a narrow interest when it comes to these positions where it's a political party that sets or fields its candidate, whether or not they are fit for purpose. But yeah, you would want a fine balance of skill and also of policy, which is what the political parties' stance would be on particular developmental issues. So a balance between the two is essential, but I would say in the past, we've seen very little of that. I mean, if you look at even the way that Al-Jamaa was managed to be at the helm of the mayoral leadership with only a few seats, some would argue that kind of spits in the face of democracy because clearly they didn't get the majority of votes from the constituencies. But still, here they are leading such a very complex municipality.
Lwazi, what are the key factors driving the ANC's current deal with ActionSA and the IFP to bring Dada Morero back as mayor? And I must hasten to say that, as Zianda Ngcobo pointed out in her conversation with Herman Mashaba a few minutes ago, that at some point he vehemently, in fact, he potentially swore that he would never work with the ANC. So what is that catalyst that's seen a change of mind?
Yeah, I remember very well when Mr. Mashaba did say those words that he would never work with the ANC under no certain terms. But I guess it's the nature of politics. So there's no permanent enemies, no permanent friends, only permanent interests. So I think also the political climate that we're currently seeing, where now we've seen parties that have been in the past on opposite ends of the spectrum coming together, has kind of also broken that belief in some way. So I think he's also, and also bear in mind that Mr. Mashaba's venture into politics through this political party called ActionSA, their key support, or rather I would say the city of Joburg was an incubator that kind of fostered the growth of this party into the political foray. So I think that was a big factor, that he has a very strong constituency, and that has come a long way with him. And also, obviously, as I said, that there is a mood of cooperation right now, where we can see different divergent political parties coming together. So I think that those were the key things that were at the heart of this agreement.
Now, how do you foresee the coalition dynamics playing out, especially with the inclusion of ActionSA and the IFP? And historically, if we look at the legacy of Johannesburg, that instability around this mayoral position.
Well, the IFP is not a newcomer to this. I remember quite well at some point during the backing and forthing of different mayors, they also had occupied the very same MMC position that it seems they're going to take again, which is the human settlements. And yeah, so they're not entirely new to the game. And also the approach that Mr. Mashaba has taken, he's made it clear that this is not a political coalition. What rather he is doing is that he wants to have levers of influence over the speaker position, which has influence over the committees and the business of council in general, as well as also inputs that are coming from the executive, which is the mayoral committee. So it's not a matter of him putting his fielding candidates to actually co-govern. It's just more rather of a supply and confidence, where they will just be able to exert oversight over the business of the council at the city of Joburg.
And finally, let's talk about the people of Joburg, the most important part of the equation, I'd imagine. Now, given the past challenges in service delivery, what measures are being proposed to ensure improvement under Morero's potential leadership?
Well, one thing that he's also made sure, he's made clear in his proposal to work with the ANC, is that he wants them to adopt programs that are benefiting the citizens of Johannesburg. And I think one of the three conditions is put over and above the removal of the current mayor is the reversal of that 200 rand surcharge that has been placed on prepaid meter beneficiaries in Johannesburg. So that's already telling you that he is basically wanting to really play an oversight role that will protect the interests of the citizenry.